First Watch Now.
What you need to know from the Cochise County Sheriff's Office.
Hosted by Cochise County Public Information Officers Carol Kappas and Grady Butler. First Watch on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your Sheriff's Office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and Sheriff Mark Daniels. Good morning.
Good morning, Cochise County.
Hello, everyone.
Kind of got some mood lighting going on in here.
I see that.
Or a burnt bulb.
Yeah, a burnt bulb.
But it does. It kind of brings the mood in there. And with a good storm, well-deserved storm last night, kind of brings a neat little feeling in here to the radio station.
And I feel like we got a good chance for rain this weekend as well, so maybe we'll get some.
Yeah, in fact, of course, football tonight all around the county and beyond. It's there might be some rainy fields out there tonight, and they'll play right through the rain until lightning. Lightning will stop the football game. Otherwise, the rain's not going to stop it, which actually makes it for a little bit of fun.
It's the pick. It's a lightning rod is what it is, so they have to be careful with that.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
Well, let's talk about football because it is the big game.
It is. The pick tonight is the 153rd meeting of Bisbee Pumas and Douglas Bulldogs as they take on for the pick. And Douglas has won it barely last year, 10-8. Has won that the last 2 years. But Bisbee's hot this year. Senior quarterback, doing a lot of good things. Watched him when he's a sophomore. Watched him grow up here last several years. And Douglas, who the word was going to do very well this year, lost a week ago at the 28-2, I believe it was. So it's going to be very interesting. It's at Douglas tonight. Again, we do our pregame at 6:30. The kickoff is at 7 o'clock. But if you haven't been to the pick, that's both communities. They just come together. It's just one huge event. The stadium will be packed, and so we're going to call that game tonight, 92.3 here on this station right here to call the game. Jeff Davenport and I, so we're looking forward to it. Hopefully we can find some space to call it. That's our biggest concern going down there because there ain't a lot of seats left at the stadium. That's a huge stadium in Douglas, too.
And keeping along with schools, and we're going to hit it again. We mentioned it last week, but congratulations to our Deputy Robert Zavala. Bobby is doing a great job, School Resource Officer of the Year. We need school resource officers, for different projects in the county. So if you're interested and you think you can fit that bill, apply. But congratulations, Bobby.
Yes, I mean, what an award. Here he is. He was school resource officer for Naco and then the Bisbee High School. He grew up in that community. This is his home. But he gets nominated by his students and then selected by the State Department of Education as the State of Arizona School Resource Officer. This is huge news from a rural school. Think about it. Almost every urban school in Phoenix, Maricopa, has SROs. A lot of your Pima schools and a lot beyond that. And he takes the award home here in Cochise County. So, Bobby, congratulations. That thing should have been all over the media. And I'm not saying that in a negative way to our media partners, but I'm going to blast it every way I can because if something bad happens at a school, those are headlines. Everybody draws to them. But somebody good, who, again, Jackie Clay and I, we push school safety, we push school security, protecting our kiddos out there. And, Bobby, you're instrumental in doing that with us. So thank you so much.
And this week you had human trafficking training.
This is part of a grant with our new Border Operations Center, which will have a human trafficking component, which is shared with many other states, trying to protect those that are being trafficked by the cartels. So part of the grant is for an 8-hour training for law enforcement leadership put on through the grant. Attorney out of Chicago was one of the prime speakers. We had a victim rights advocate in there and many others that have worked their life around human trafficking. So it was a very good 8-hour training on Monday. I learned a lot. My team learned a lot. But it's where we're going. I mean, besides the enforcement of fentanyl, and besides the enforcement of our state laws, one thing we do is, believe it or not, I keep saying this, is we're also protecting migrants and those that have been pretty much kidnapped. I call it modern-day slavery by these cartels, trying to protect them too and get them back safely to where they need to go, back to their families.
So one of the things that they covered, and I'd like you to tell the listeners, is the difference between smuggling and trafficking.
Bottom line, the word consent is the difference. Smuggling, there's a consensual agreement. Yeah, I'm going to smuggle, and that's blurry at best. Trafficking, there is no consent. It's force, it's coercion all the way through. So there is a big difference. But when they smuggle these people, again, even though it's the consent, I'm talking about a lot of the families and kids too, it's based on money, it's based on servant behavior, and I think it's a fine line. But there is a difference. And smuggling is consensual. trafficking is not.
Staying along those same lines, let's just take this time to kind of group a whole bunch of things together. So you had the human trafficking training on Monday, and now we have this uptick in pursuits. You know, we put on our Facebook a year to the day about these vehicles that had crashed and caused serious injury. The pursuits are picking up a lot right now, and it's not that they haven't been. They've been out there, but we're just seeing an overabundance of that right now.
Well, look at the one. We have an allegation of a 15-year-old driver who has multiple priors. I mean, this is a juvenile. I was looking at the brief on this the other day, but 8 people were injured this week. The migrants were injured. It's just every day. I walked into Walmart the other night. I was off duty. It's like 8:30 at night. Walked in, and as I'm walking in, there was SO deputies there, service to PD there, and they were looking for. We had a pursuit that came out of Douglas into Davis Road, up Charleston Road. Went in behind Pep Tech, and then someone ran into Walmart, then into a hotel on Friday Boulevard. We were out there till 1 in the morning getting all these people caught up. The cartel actually put them up in a hotel. I mean, that's a business for them. And so to have that collective effort, but we're addressing issues right now that it's just getting worse and worse, sparking a lot of concern by leadership, by the police chiefs, myself, all of us. We got to do a better job, and we're going to continue doing that.
And so there's no helicopter yet for us. We're going to have one in a couple weeks, but we actually have an asset that we're available to use. So you're tapping into a lot of different areas and a lot of different organizations to try to get us back up and running so we can, I guess, try to be more of the enforcement that we need to have done as quickly as possible, again, to address these pursuits. So tell us a little bit about, you met with the governor's office, DPS, DEMA. Sorry, that was a big lead in, but it's just a lot going on, and you're trying to make an effort to get all of the collective stuff going on. So tell us a little bit about how this meeting went and maybe where we're going with this, because we need to shut this down in Cochise County.
We do, and my biggest concern is death, serious injury and death to our citizens, and we've already seen it. We've already seen the tragedies, and we continue to see it. And it's frustrating, it's insulting that this is not a priority, not just for us local. Every local elected official and community leader should be standing up on this, the state and the federal government. And we know that's not happening. We just know it's not happening. So, again, we have to do our part. I just got our stats last week, too. So in just less than 8 months here in Cochise County, 1,008 people were booked in our jail for border crimes. That's an incredible lot of people, all the way from murder all the way down. 1,008. 270 smuggler driver offenses, 164 pursuits. I could go on. But the bottom line is it's getting worse. So when we met with the governor's office, we met with DPS and sheriffs, I voiced my concern. I voiced the concern that we have to do a better job and we need to prioritize this. Long story short is I have a meeting next Wednesday. I've asked the state of Arizona officially for support to bring more resources here, so they have agreed to do that. Wednesday we're kicking off some an operational meeting, and then getting our chiefs and police chiefs involved, and we're going to push it forward. So help is on its way, folks, and I promise you we're going to do everything we can. When I got school superintendents calling me, Sheriff, we need a better plan. I got citizens calling me. I had a citizen and a family, their 16-year-old son and the mom ran off the road on a pursuit the other day by the smuggler. So we're going to continue doing our part. We're going to continue to ask for those resources. And I'll just say this, if they say no, and they haven't, the state of Arizona has not said no, but if they do, we're going to do our part. We'll do everything we can. The reason those numbers aren't tripled is I don't have tripled the resources. So, again, the cartel and the criminals are listening to that. If you're going to smuggle in this county, we're coming after you.
That's absolutely true. And they need to understand that, enforcement has been good to this point as far as collective efforts between law enforcement, the sheriff's office even creating an entire team with the CIT and having SABRE part of that. And, people have sometimes a criticism of, yeah, sure, you got this many, but how many got away? Well, what are the options? Do you just do nothing? And that's what you've said many times. So the option is now coming back together again, bringing more resources to the table. And again, backing up to, we don't have a helicopter yet, but we're going to have, hopefully, fingers crossed, air support. And you're going to see a lot more enforcement efforts going on.
We are, and I've asked the state to relocate their helicopter down here right now for these pursuits, these chases, foot pursuits into the desert, all this that we're dealing with. And they've agreed to do that. So, again, there's a lot of resources coming here that I'm very happy about, very excited about. But, again, we're going to do our part. We're going to enforce the rule of law. I wasn't elected to do social things in that aspect. I was elected to enforce public safety and the rule of law, and that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to continue on this path. I'm just telling the folks, don't get frustrated, stand united with us. I know there's critics out there no matter what we do. I can't focus on those people. In fact, just help us or get out of the way, bottom line. And I know it sounds maybe strong, but it is my deputies are out there kicking butt. They are, and they're keeping their chins up. The police chiefs with their officers, everybody's doing, and the troopers, we're all doing it, and Border Patrol especially. My heart goes out to those guys, those agents. So we're going to continue to do what we have to do, but we need the community to stand united. And right now, I'm so pleased with the community like we have in Cochise County. They've been there every step of the way with me, and thank you for doing that.
So we do have a helicopter on the way, and the sheriff's office also has a helicopter on the way, and we want the community to help us name it.
We are, and thanks to the 400 and some comments and suggestions, and we're going to have once the helicopter gets here, it should be here within about 2 weeks. A week should be coming very soon. We're going to get it up right away, and then we have to install some more equipment on it for more night operation stuff. But the bottom line is we're going to get it up because the need is so strong right now. But yeah, we're going to come out here real soon. We're going to have a committee. We're going to come out. We'll get our top 3 finalists. We'll get those out to you. We'll narrow that down, and then we're going to get it named here. So I'm excited, and thanks for the community for stepping up and help us name your helicopter.
And also, you were talking on Fort Huachuca at the Intel Center.
I went up to an awards thing. It was awesome. I got invited up there. General was there, all the leadership for you, a lot of community leaders, but it was TRADOC's best squad. And they just started, I think it was the second, third year they've done this. And so this is TRADOC through all military. So this year we hosted it, Fort Huachuca hosted it. And at the end of the day, Fort Huachuca's Intel Center squad won the award. So it was really cool to see our own local soldiers being awarded that. And it was packed. In fact, I pulled in. I was running late. I had another event. Pulled in the parking lot. There was no spots. I'm like, wow, this thing is well attended for all the right reasons. So I parked way in the back, and I walked in just when it was starting. Chef, we waiting for you. I'm coming. But long story short is thanks to our soldiers and thanks to Fort Huachuca and their leadership. I'll tell you, besides an economic driver in Cochise County, it's also an asset to have in our county. So thank you to all the soldiers serving up there, and Navy and Airmen and Coast Guard, and they're missing anybody, the Marines, of course. And thanks for being here for us.
And you have a lot on the plate again. So this weekend is the car show for the Boys and Girls Club in Bisbee.
It is. We'll have our Challenger down there. Everybody keeps asking, where's your Challenger? And by the way, I got to say this. DPS has got a black Challenger out there. So we've got a couple calls on your Challenger. No, that was DPS's Challenger. So there's 2 Challengers now, Dodge Challengers, run around Cochise County. Ours is green. It says Big Old Sheriff on the side in 10 letters, and DPS has one too. But tomorrow is the Bisbee Boys and Girls Club annual car show down in Warren on the main street there, main drag. And so I'll be judging the car show, and we're going to have the Challenger down there. Sergeant McNeely, the outreach team, is going to be down there. So come on down, take a look at our cars, take a look at the show, and support the Boys and Girls of Bisbee.
And you're going to be talking to the Citizens Police Academy in Sierra Vista.
Yeah, next Tuesday night. I have the opportunity. I was going to talk to them several months ago, then my schedule conflicted out, but I'll talk to them about the operation of the sheriff's office. And the relationships we have with our police departments, our volunteers, which is huge to me. Our 100 volunteers are just doing an amazing job at the sheriff's office, and I know Service to PD's got a handful of volunteers over there too. It's great when you bring volunteers into your organization. That's community policing at its best. So again, I get to talk to them. I'm looking forward to that, and sharing our sheriff's office. Anytime I get a chance to share the sheriff's office with the public, I'm excited about that. And
you're going to do that again with Border Patrol. So you're going to a new PAIC meeting, which is our patrol agent in charge for U.S. Border Patrol. You're going to be doing that next week.
Doing that next week, too, getting to meet. We have a new acting PAC, patrol agent in charge, out of Douglas, and then Mike Hyatt, who's been steadfast with us for many, many years, and Lori up in Wilcox. So we got really, really good PACs running Border Patrol here in Cochise County. So we're going to have a meeting next week, kind of just what I was talking about earlier with all this collective effort, and go over that with them, and they've been a great partner. And again, the agents, I applaud them all. And then Wednesday, I'm going to be speaking to a statewide drug summit up in Phoenix. They called me yesterday and said the governor's going to speak right before you do. And I said, why does she get to go first? Just kidding, everybody. Just kidding, everyone. But long story short, so I'll be doing that Wednesday. But a lot of good things going on. I'm very excited. We just had a meeting yesterday in regards to funding. Funding is critical to us here in Cochise County, and my commitment's always been not to use local general funds from the taxpayers, but bring in outside funding to offset costs absent and in kind, which means I'm not asking the county to match it. So we just got our another funding source from the state up from like $600,000 to 1.5 yesterday. So I'm excited about that, which allows us to complete some projects that we're doing, plus sustain some of the programs that's already in place. Again, just working our partners out there, our relationships and networking to make this county better.
What is your stop of the week, Sheriff?
Stop of the week. Folks, we need to slow down. I came up on an accident, one of the deputies and I did last Monday going to that training where a car went right in the back of another car. I mean, ripped the back axle off the car. I mean, I don't think brakes were applied. So obviously we stopped there. The deputy and I were the first on scene when we addressed the injuries and addressed the folks, traffic. And at 7 in the morning, you know what 92 South is like. So, but that was an inattention to speed, no doubt about it. And then I stopped a juvenile going 59 miles an hour in a residential neighborhood. And so I provided him a citation, and I'm very good about getting behavior change when I stop somebody. But when you're running highway speeds in a residential neighborhood, that's deadly speeds because you got kids going to school, people on bikes, people walking. So that person ended up getting a citation. I felt bad, but the reality is people need to slow down. I know we've had a lot of accidents this week, and then you combine all the pursuits we're dealing with, the reckless pursuits coming through our county, and I want to say one more thing before I sign off here today. I was up in Benson Saturday, up in the Mescal area, and I was coming back, and I pulled off onto the Skyline exit to do a couple of things, and I see this little bitty dog coming up the on-ramp. It's an older dog. It looked like he has very bad cataracts, almost like a blind dog. I got out and had my wife with me, Nikki, and if you guys don't know my wife, she's very into animals, just like I am. Well, I called the dog, came right to us. I put it in the vehicle, gave it water. It was very, very thirsty. A very nice little dog. Went to Safeway in Benson, got some food for it, called our animal control, and the dog was chipped. Get your animals chipped. But in this case, the chip came back to a person out of Phoenix that adopted it about a year ago in Maricopa County. Well, that person won't respond back to my animal control officers. So if that person's listening, hear me. So my animal control supervisor and I are going up to Phoenix. We're going to run that person down and find out why her dog's in Cochise County. Absent a reasonable, it's hard to justify so far, but a reasonable explanation why her dog's down in Cochise County, she will be charged for cruelty, for abandonment. So take care of your pets, folks. Take care of your pets. Get your animals chipped. That if you do lose your animal, we can get it back to you. But in this case, we're coming after that person.
So you have a new dog?
Well, it's in the shelter right now, so if you're looking for a nice dog, it's an older dog, it's a sweetheart dog. It really is. It's in the shelter. Nobody will put it down because that's the sheriff's find. So if you're looking for a little dog, get a hold of our animal control, and it's a great pet, and we need to get that to a good owner.
And before you go, Sheriff, invite everybody out to football tonight.
Tonight, it's the annual pick game between Bisbee and Douglas, the 153rd rival game between the two schools. And I've been told this is the nation's longest running high school rivalry. Now I don't know if that's true or not, but on this show it's true. So it's going to be true today. So again, tune in. 6:30 is pregame. 7 o'clock's kickoff. Thank you, everybody.
And Carol, who do we have coming in next?
We have Warrior Healing Center from Sierra Vista.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest from the Warrior Healing Center. Good morning.
Morning. How's it going?
Good.
Good morning.
Get that microphone a little bit closer to you. Sorry about that. So let's talk about the Warrior Healing Center and kind of what you do and what makes you different.
Yeah, so there's a lot of organizations that assist veterans, but we try to look deeper into the problem. You know, the veteran suicide problem has been such a problem for the entire country for the past 20 years. Over 120,000 veterans have killed themselves in the last 20 years in America, and that's more than all the losses we suffered in World War I. That's more than all the losses we've suffered in all the wars since World War II. And so far, it's vexed all the professionals, the experts, and so forth. And so we tried to take a different look at the problem and use techniques and ways of learning that haven't been used before, kind of some novel approaches in order to understand the problem and try to make a difference here in our community.
Yeah, at the surface, a lot of folks think, the answer is simple and it's gun control. Well, no, 120,000, and we know that that's an underestimated number because we know that they're only counting the ones that they are absolutely sure that it was intended suicide. However, there's also a classification of cause of death that is accidental, and you would be amazed at how many veterans are vulnerable to falling from heights or drug overdose, alcohol overdose, single vehicular accidents, all of those things. So we're talking about a huge problem in this country, and people really don't like talking about it, and that's part of the problem too.
So what do you do to combat that? What are some of the steps?
Yeah, so first is understanding the problem at a reality level. We use a reality-based approach, looking at everything from the numbers and statistics nationwide to the particular situations that our veterans are experiencing here at home. So for example, the VA likes to think of the veteran suicide problem as a mental health issue. They treat it with medication and long-term therapy. But in our experience, that's not the case at all. That people are suffering from psychological crisis, and it's maybe a fine line difference between psychological crisis and mental health. But in reality, these people are not suffering from things that happened to them 20 years ago in the military. They're suffering from what I like to call the country music song. My dog died, my truck broke down, my wife left me, I lost my house. All the things of real life that create crisis for people. When they're left unresolved, they start to compound, and they put that stress on somebody. And for veterans who kind of have a unique background and experience and a challenge communicating with others who aren't like them as veterans about their problems and so forth, those are important distinctions to understand and to create solutions that are rooted in the nature of that problem. And then second is to understand our current situation. The VA lies to veterans, and it's so much a part of what they do that it's almost like we're soaking in it, so we don't recognize what it is. But when veterans go in to get the benefits that they've earned, everything is stacked against them. Everything from those benefits being called disability, for example. So psychologically, veterans are not inclined to pursue them because they don't want to get themselves ranked as disabled. And then the other fun part is that the VA uses math that doesn't add up. So for example, their approach is to give veterans certain percentages for certain parts of their body. So if you have 10% for a shoulder and 20% for a knee and 20% for their back, and those percentages add up to 80%, well, the VA says, no, it's not 80, it's 60. Trust us. And anyone who can do basic math knows that those don't add up to 60, those add up to 80. But the VA only gives the veteran credit for 60 with no real explanation as to why that is, just the math doesn't work. So that messes with people's minds. And so we go in and say, rather than think of it as disability, let's think of it more like workman's compensation. And let's shift the focus from the percentage to actually getting the veteran what they deserve, what they've earned. And so we have worked together with our team over the past 2 years and have gotten upgrades for 150 of our local veterans here, and 77 of those were upgraded to over 100%, which, once you take a look at the system of how our veterans are compensated, that's really a magic place, that 100%, because it starts getting health care for family members, it gets education benefits for family members and so forth, and it produces an income for the veteran, so it takes a lot of pressure off of them in day-to-day life. And so we take a look at the analysis of, okay, there are 18,000-ish veterans in Cochise County. 7,500 of those have a rating of some kind, but about half of those have a rating of 50% or less, meaning they are in a great place to be boosted, and it's worth a look on what the possibilities are for those folks. And then we have 10,000 veterans in the county that have no rating whatsoever. So how do we reach out to those folks? How do we inform and educate them on the benefits that are available to them? Those are all game changers for our veterans. That really is a proactive way of approaching the veteran suicide problem. We don't wait until the gun is against the head before we start working. We work far in advance of that in order to support that veteran long term.
Yeah, the answer really is finding a way to give hope to these folks. And these are people that served our country. These are people that have sacrificed or been willing to sacrifice everything for the liberties that we often take for granted here. But really, it's not that complicated of a problem. It's give veterans what was promised to them. Give them the benefits that they have earned, number one. And then it's also working with veterans on a daily basis. We talk to all kinds of folks, and we understand that there are needs out there in this community. And we, as a community, need to figure out how to meet those needs. What is it that are making veterans so vulnerable to this problem of suicide? Well, how do we fix that? How do we solve that? It's just finding that there are trends. We've got over 3,000 veterans that we've worked with in the last several years. And so we're starting to look at that and see the numbers big picture and determine, okay, what are the trends? What are the problems that we're seeing? What are the needs that this community is good at meeting? And what are some of the areas that we need to get some help for? And so we're doing our best to compile that information and share that data, not just with the local veteran service organizations in general, but also with our community and with our city council and, you know, the folks that represent us as a county and a state, to try and say, hey, we're out here in rural Arizona where veteran suicide risk is twice that of the rest of the nation. We need some help here. We need some resources. And so we are doing everything we can to compile that information and get that shared.
And then we measure effects. You know, we say, does what we do work at all? And from 2019 through 2021, those 3 years, Cochise County averaged 12.3 veteran suicides a year. Last year, that number was down to 9, and so far this year, that number is down to 6. So, knock on wood, hopefully we can finish strong throughout the holidays for this year and see a continued reduction. And if we do, great. If not, we'll just continue to go back to the drawing board and keep chopping wood, because it's all about the effects. How much of an impact are we able to make on this problem through these approaches, and then honestly evaluate our approaches based upon that information.
And if a veteran is listening right now, how can they get a hold of you guys to either, you know, they're feeling like they're bogged down in all of those situations you talk about, or they're thinking suicide? How can they get a hold of you, and what can you do for them?
Absolutely. Well, first key is to understand that we're an all-volunteer operation made up of veterans and veteran family members who have all been in those shoes. So when you come to the Warrior Healing Center with that issue, just understand you're coming home, and there are people who are your family, who care about you, who get it, who have walked in those shoes, and we're there for you. You can call us at our number, 520-221-4093. You can find us on the web at warriorhealingcenter.com, or you can find us at our office over at 1838 Paseo San Luis in Sierra Vista. And we've got folks ready to work with folks and figure out where the problems are and what needs to be done to address it.
And lastly, what can the community do for you?
Well, we are entirely community supported. We don't have any type of higher organization above us. It's totally grassroots, and we're just a conduit to the community. So we need our community support to continue going. If people are interested in supporting, they can go to 22toend22.com. That's 22, T-O-E-N-D, 22.com. And we've got a program where you can sign up for $22 a month to end 22 a day, the 22 a day suicide number that everyone's so familiar with. And we just invite everyone to take a look, because ultimately we're completely supported by this community.
And you're looking for volunteers as well?
Absolutely. We've got tons of opportunities. If you go to warriorhealing.vet/volunteer, that's a great place to sign up and find out more about volunteering at the Warrior Healing Center.
All right, give us that email address or web address and phone number one more time.
Okay, so phone number 520-221-4093. That number again, 520-221-4093.
All right,
operators are standing by.
There you go. We appreciate you guys coming in and talking to us today.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
on 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office. And our next guest, we're going to be talking about putting on the glitz. Hi, introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Candy Druin. I'm from Just Kids Incorporated, and we're back. The Ladies' Night Out is back for you guys. Putting on the glitz is going to be September 16th, 5:30 to 10 o'clock at Ocotillo Hall, 6415 East Highway 90. We're going to have music. We're going to have dancing, raffles, good food. And we just hope that everybody can join us again. It's been a few years since we've had this event, but we got our committees out there making great plans for you. Tickets are $70. You can get them on Eventbrite, but we have a one-day offline sale to save you that fee, and it's September 9th. On a Saturday at 9 to noon at Preference Property at 705 East Wilcox Drive. And we couldn't do it with all our sponsors, which is the Herald and Laser, Pioneer Title, Culver's, and Sherry Ward from Preference Property, you know.
Is there a place where we can find out more about this online?
Yeah, you can give me a call. My number is 520-559-0637. And you go to Eventbrite if you want to order it online and get them and get your groups together. We're just rubbing our hands together to get the ladies back in there. We got glitzmen who are going to come and make sure that they have a great time. And I've been passing out flyers and letting everybody know we're back.
All right, it's going to be back. So give us the dates and times one more time.
Okay, September 16th is the night of the event. From 5:30 to 10 p.m. And if you want to come to the offline ticket sales day, it's September 9th, 9 to noon at Preference Properties, 705 East Wilcox Drive.
All right, well, thanks for coming and catching us up on that.
Yay!
And we have the next guest in the studio with us now. Hi, what's your name?
My name is Michelle Absalon, and I am here with Southeastern Arizona Contractors Association.
And what do you guys do?
We are basically, we work with contractors, local businesses, real estate agents, insurance companies, and we promote the growth of Cochise County. We also are there in case there's an issue arising that contractors are facing. We'll step forward and basically fight for them, whatever they're needing. So we are getting ready. We do a lot of charity fundraising, a lot of charity work, and we are getting ready for our 18th annual Charity Golf Classic on October 20th. It's going to be at Mountain View Golf Course in Fort Huachuca. We're 7 o'clock check-in, 8 o'clock shotgun start. We're running it as a four-man scramble. So far, we've got 48 players signed up already, and we max out at about 96 players, so we're halfway there. We've got Lolly Automotive is sponsoring our hole-in-one. And some of our other sponsors are SSVEC, CEMEX, Stan Greer Millworks, Arizona Appliance and Home, Mr. Fix-It, and University Termite and Pest Control. People are interested in sponsoring. Even if they don't have a team, they can sponsor one. I can get it filled by Sheriff's Department, by Sierra Vista Police Department, by Sierra Vista Fire and Medical. They can donate that team. Those guys love it when they get a team donated to fill. So if you're interested, you can go to www.birdease.com/SACA's 18th annual, or you can just give me a call at 520-458-0488, or go to our Facebook page, which is Facebook/SACA. So this is going to be October 20th. It's going to be a great time. This is going to be my third tournament, and we max out. We have so much fun out there. It's a lot of fun. The guys always enjoy it, so we're looking forward to that. The other thing I want to let everybody know about is that we have a monthly speaker series luncheon for the Contractors Association. It's $25 a person. It is held at Cochise College in their Horace Steele room at 11:30 to 12:30. This month it is going to be on the 27th of September, and we are having Dan Gilmet from Cochise College. He is the director of CIS CYB, which is basically their computer safety or security and everything, internet security over there. And he is going to be speaking about the Internet of Things in our home. So your Alexas and just your basic computer stuff, the Rings, and all of the security risks that you face with those. So we're looking forward to having a big luncheon that day. Lunch is catered by Aladdin Campus Dining at Cochise College, and it's always a good speaker, and so everybody's invited to come. Again, for more information on that, they can go to our Facebook page at Facebook.com/SACA. On that one, I should have that posted in the next day or two on our website, which is www.SACA, so it's SACA-AZ.org, or they can call me at 520-458-0488.
You've done this so many times that you're just like, boom, you got it down.
I'm getting used to it now, Grady.
That's awesome. We thank you for coming and catching us up on SACA as well.
Thank you.
First Watch on KWCD Country is brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
It's First Watch Now.
Hosted by Public Information Officer Carol Kappas and Grady Butler.
On 92.3 KWCD.
And it's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative, giving you an inside look into your sheriff's office. I'm Grady Butler, and with me is Carol Kappas, Public Information Officer with the Sheriff's Office, and our next guest from the Sierra Vista Police Department, it's Corporal Worpstack. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So you have an event coming up on Tuesday that you'd like to tell us about.
Yes, we do have the event. It's the monthly event of the Sierra Vista Community Connect event. We started this a little bit over a year ago, and the cool thing about it is we bring together all kinds of different agencies to one location for various things. Like Good Neighbor Alliance is going to be there, the Animal Shelter, along with the Friends of the Sierra Vista Animal Shelter, Cochise Harm Reduction, Better Bucks, Better Work will be there, Hoops House, Hope Inc., Arizona at Work, Cochise Serving Veterans, a whole lot of different organizations. We bring them all together so people can come to one location and seek services. If there's something out there that you need, we probably got somebody that can help you out, and you don't have to go all over Sierra Vista or Cochise County. Come to one location and do it. It's going to be held at the Ethel Berger Center this coming Tuesday. The event starts at 10 o'clock and goes to 1 o'clock. Lunch is provided. So come on out. Check it out.
You mentioned Better Bucks. We haven't talked about that in a while. Remind the community, what is Better Bucks?
Oh, Better Bucks. Better Bucks we started, actually we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. October of this year will be our 2-year anniversary. Basically, what it is we provide, or people will buy these booklets with vouchers inside of them. There's 5 $1 vouchers that can be used at various locations in Sierra Vista. People will buy these booklets and give them out to folks in need. Could be the homeless, could be somebody panhandling, or just somebody that they know could use some help. They buy these, give them out, and then folks can use those to buy living essentials, food, clothing, toiletries, stuff like that. It's better than giving cash, because with Better Bucks, they can't buy alcohol, tobacco, or anything that can be used in conjunction with illegal drugs. So folks know where their gift is going and what it's going to be used for.
And this is a good thing to hand out to people that might be on the sidewalk outside of a grocery store, for example.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And folks that really need the help are very gracious about taking them. We've had several people tell us stories where they've given them out to, say, professional panhandlers, and they don't want them. They just want the cash. Well, you know that they're going to use it probably for something,
tells a story.
Exactly. That's exactly right. So in 2 years that we've been doing this, we have paid out just over $25,000 to local merchants for people that have gone in and used Better Bucks. So it's been a success.
All right, and that's going to be at your event on Tuesday. So remind everybody one more time, invite everybody out for your Tuesday event.
Yep, it's going to be this Tuesday, September 5th at the Ethel Berger Center, which is at 2950 East Tacoma Street in Sierra Vista, and it goes from 10 o'clock till 1 p.m.
All right, and you have an event coming up kind of in the distant future, but you wanted to talk about it for a second.
Yeah, we'll put a feeler out.
Right.
Is that what you guys call it in the radio business?
That'll work.
Okay, so anyway, October 6th. Actually, that week of October or that weekend is Faith and Blue weekend. So this year we're again partnering with some of the faith-based organizations in Sierra Vista and throughout Cochise County. But this year, Faith and Blue is going to focus on two things. One, the October is actually Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and Lori's Place. Lori's Place is going through a rebranding and having an open house, and we're going to have it on October 6th. So folks can come out to Lori's Place, check it out, see what they do. Just be part of the fun that we're going to have on that day.
And Michelle from Lori's Place is here and can kind of give us like the quick summary of, what does Lori Place do for our community?
Lori's Place is the advocacy center. We basically take care of any victims of violent crimes, so assault, sexual assault, rape, child abuse, neglect, human trafficking. They can come to us and they get forensic exam, a forensic interview. If the police department or sheriff's department will come and interview them, everything is done right there. We have trauma therapists, and we have our patient advocates and our victim advocates. Victim advocates are there with that victim from the time they come in until the time they say, you know what, I'm good, I don't need the services anymore. They'll go to court with them, they'll file the necessary paperwork with them, and they're there if they're just having a rough day and need somebody to talk to. So we provide a very vital service in the community, and we were told recently that I believe there were 83 cases of abuse or neglect involving juveniles last year, and all 83 of them were taken to court, and they had a 100% success rate with that. So the county attorney gave us a big kudos on that. He said they wouldn't be able to have that success rate without us. So it's a very, very important organization, unfortunately.
Well, we thank you for what you do in our community. So, Corporal Borgstadt, remind us again that that's coming up in October?
Yep, October 6th. It'll be at Lori's Place. The event, that event is actually going to run from 1 to 5 p.m. That afternoon.
All right. Well, thanks for coming and talking to us today,
you.
Corporal Borgstadt. Also from the Sierra Vista Police Department, we've got Sergeant Wachtel in the house to talk about the DUI task force that is going to be this weekend.
Good morning, Grady. Good morning, Cochise County. Obviously, this weekend is a Labor Day weekend, so the Southeastern Arizona DUI Task Force, we will be out conducting a saturation detail here in the serviced area. It'll be Saturday, tomorrow night, from 7 o'clock until 3 in the morning. So, again, several agencies are coming into town to help us out. So, just like we talk about every other time, make the right choice.
And why do you like to let everybody know that you're going to be out and about?
It's just a public service announcement. Our goal is not to go out there and see how many people we can arrest. Our goal is to put something out ahead of time just to let you guys know we will be out there. But the ultimate goal is everybody get home safely and make the right choice.
And there are alternatives.
There's several alternatives these days. Obviously, you know what you're doing that night. So plan ahead. Take somebody with you. Or, for some reason, if you get there and things get a little bit out crazy, call a taxi. It's that easy.
And the DUI Task Force actually enjoys finding designated drivers.
We do. Obviously, we do keep our stats of who we pull over and what we find, and one of them is a designated driver. So, there's nothing better to walk up to a vehicle and smelling all the alcohol, but the driver's sober. So we encourage that.
All right. Remind everybody when you're going to be out this weekend.
Again, Saturday, September 2nd from 7 o'clock until 3 in the morning. And I also like to give a shout-out to Jimmy John's for feeding us.
Always good. Thanks, Jimmy John's. We appreciate that.
Always good.
All right. Well, we thank you for coming and talking to us today.
Thank you.
First Watch on KWCD Country. It's brought to you by Sulphur Springs Valley Electric Cooperative.
You've been listening to First Watch.